diamonds, diamonds. Love don't come for free. Ah, what did it say? 550,000 diamonds. Yeah, okay, whatever. Oh, it is Wednesday. It's just hump day. It's hump day. Hump day, hump day, hump day. Hump day, hump day, hump day. Greetings and salutations. Greetings and salutations. Can't make this up. We're live everywhere. Everywhere. Everywhere we're live. As you all get situated, I will get comfortable. Hmm. Yeah, I can hear Pinky already. Greeting, nephew. Where my nephew been? My nephew got nephew number one, nephew number two, right on top of each other. Baragani. And Penelope, Amy, y'all early. Yeah. Where you at, nephew? I know. Working and sleeping. Where you at, Jay? Nephew Jay, where you at? You at home or no, today Wednesday. You're at work. Today Wednesday, you're at work. Yeah. I remembered the schedule. No need to fear. Penelope is here. You'll be in the slew next week. All right. Amy, you've been sick? What's been wrong? What's wrong? Well, let me do my intro real quick. What are you gonna be? Well, call me later. Call me later. Let's see, Next week, Crumb Snatcher birthday. So I probably if it's the weekend, I know I won't make it. 19th birthday party. Got a birthday party on the 19th. But give me a call. We'll see what we can come up with. See what we can come up with. Um, Greetings, salutations. GCPR, the other place that every time I mention I get in trouble on TikTok. And TikTok. How are you doing? How are you doing? It is 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, 11 o'clock Eastern Time. You can set your clock by me because I will always be on time, comparatively speaking to probably Lauren Hill. Yeah, I'm always on time. Comparatively speaking, yes, I'm always on time compared to Lauren Hill. Yeah, I was telling somebody. Oh, finish the introduction, TNathan. Greetings, salutations. This is Conversations with TNathan. So, my conversation. Welcome to the channel. Now, I hope somebody told you they love you today, and I hope you told somebody you love them today. And I'm gonna get into my random act of kindness challenge that you all thought I forgot that I didn't hear anybody share their random act of kindness with me last week. So we're gonna have to redo it. But yes, I was telling somebody, Lauren Hill. Now I want to also go on official record as saying I don't. It wasn't Lauren Hill's fault that she didn't take the stage till 2:30 at the Essence Festival. Now, also, I want people who have never been to the Essence Festival and don't know anything about the structure of the Essence Festival to stop talking about the Essence Festival. If you haven't been or you're not there this year, meh, your opinion means nuts. And I mean like those nuts, not these nuts. Those nuts, not these nuts. But it doesn't mean anything. And we'll get into that in just a minute and why I say that. First, we want to acknowledge the death toll in Texas has went over 150. Um, well, the death toll is 160 still missing. 120 plus have been confirmed dead. We always put the plus on it because we don't know. And like I said before, we're determining that a lot of people that they didn't even know were in the area are no longer in the area because they were washed away. RVs do not float well. I was looking today, they had found a ravine and they had found some water in it, and they were pulling the RV out to make sure there was no bodies in there. I'm guarantee you there were bodies in there. Essence wasn't the same after Katrina. I don't know what Essence you've been to, but I've been to Essence since Katrina, and yeah, and I guess it's for what you look for. I guess if if you're tied into it, and I'm gonna briefly talk about the Essence Festival because I'm not gonna get too wrapped up in it because I find out that most people don't know anything about the Essence Festival. Now, is the Essence Festival a cultural iconic event? Yes. It is. We have Stephanie Mills. That's a cultural iconic event right there for some people, right? I know. That's a culturally iconic event. Um, Stephanie Mills, Lauren Hill is always there. What we didn't get this year was Frankie Beverly and Mays, um, which really really something, right? The idea that Frankie Beverly and Mays, their footprint was all over the Essence Festival. You waited for Frankie Beverly to take the stage, and you didn't care how long he stayed up there. It was like um, it was good. It was great. But yes, sadly, um, he wasn't he wasn't there this year. So there is that to contend with. He's been there every year since it was founded. It was the last one I went to first was in the 90s. It was fire. I was at the one. Right. Frankie Beverly shows. Frankie Beverly is one of those artists, and I know I'm getting the sidetrack because we got to talk about give it up for Frankie for Frankie. But yeah, good show every time he took the stage. Um, hold on, sudden crumb snatcher. Crumb snatchers wait till I get on the air, and of course they want something. All right, Frankie Beverly, Mays, amazing show. I have never seen a bad show for them, but by the same token, late or not, I've never seen a bad show from Lauren Hill either. Talk about me in the comment section. I don't care. Um, but yeah, Lauren Hill is just so. Listen. I bought Lauren Hill tickets, and they say Lauren Hill was scheduled to take the stage at 9 o'clock. Right? I did not leave home till 9:45. No, I'm sorry. I didn't leave home till 9 o'clock. Yeah, I didn't leave home to go to the Lauren Hill show until 9 o'clock, and I got there about 9:45 ish. Lauren took the stage 15 minutes after I got there, and I considered it a win. I didn't know what he's like. I didn't come to see you all. I came to see Lauren. Lauren's not going to be here at 9 o'clock, and that's the here. Now, do I think we have? Do I think that people like me have contributed to Lauren not being on time? Sure, sure, I'll take the blame for that. But I don't care. Lauren Hill is amazing. Every show I've seen Lauren Hill at has been amazing. I am a big Lauren Hill fan. If you're not a fan, then I advise you to, if you just like the music, listen to the Miseducation, listen to her albums. But if you want to see her perform, you need to have in mind that Lauren's not taking the stage. It's part of the mystique. We actually have betting games. What time you think Lauren coming out? That's part of the audience betting game. If that bends you out of shape, I'm gonna tell you who doesn't care. Besides fans like me, Lauren Hill. Um, she doesn't. And but this time, it wasn't her fault that she didn't take the stage to 2:30 ish in the morning because the whole listen, Stephanie Mills. I know Stephanie Mills personally. I have a number. I've been a brand ambassador for her, and I was she was talking about how her experience at Essence Festival this year was based on the production team. It didn't have anything to do with the vendors and all that. The production team was not professional. Everybody was going on late. And once you start being late with black folks, we just compound the lateness. Because if we were supposed to be, Stephanie Mills is a consummate professional. She's a consummate professional. She shows up on time and she shows up to put that work in. You're gonna always get a good concert with Stephanie because Stephanie been giving you concerts eh, ever since we don't really need no light. Stephanie Mills gave us concerts at Jackson State for just 3 or 4 songs she would do. Stephanie Mills is a constant professional. Never been to a bad concert of Stephanie Mills. And when Stephanie Mills tells you that, hey, you all need to do better next year. It'd be good. It would behoove you to do better next year. The super lounges were great also at Essence, and that's another thing. Like the soup, we also have to factor in that the Caesar Superdome. It used to be the Mercedes Benz Superdome. If you know, you know. You take into account the Caesar Superdome was also had some construction issues, so there wasn't as many super lounges as there usually are at the Essence Festival. I personally thought that and I understand the yearly appeal of the Essence Festival, but maybe we should have took that into account and thought about that and said, how do we plan? Maybe should we do it later? But I know everybody wants to do the Fourth of July weekend, but you know, it is what it is. Do I think that a lot of the criticism being leveled at the owner of Essence Festival, um, Mr. Dennis, is warranted? No, because it amazes me that this is the man. He's owned Essence since 2018, but all of a sudden this is the festival you have a problem with because he's an immigrant. Yes, he is an immigrant. He immigrated to this country probably before most of you all were born because he's from Liberia. And in 2000, if you know your history, you know that in 1987 there was a civil war going on in Liberia. And said Civil War. Um, who is this? Who is this in my comment section acting like I'm not on the radio right now and I take guests? Yeah. I let. Yeah. Yeah. Who is this that doesn't even put anything in the comment section? You're just gonna bully their way into my live. I don't care if you follow me. If you follow me, you know I'm on the radio right now, and I don't put people on the radio unless I know them and I know what to expect. You're going to say. Um, so one of the things is, like I say, he's owned Essence since 2018 when the Essence Group purchased them, and the Essence the company he formed that he purchased Essence with wasn't the same company. It's like the idea that people think just because the name of your company is similar to the name of a company you bought, that company somehow own. Stop it. But we can go in there. I'm gonna actually do a video on him and talk about his story. But anyway, he came to this country in 1987. He couldn't go back to Libya, not Libya, Liberia. Sorry about that, because of the fact that civil war had started to go on. So he went to college here. He was born in 1969. So he's 2 years younger than I am, and he's worth $400 million. And this is who he is. So he's lived his life here. He's an immigrant. He became citizen and all that. He has done some spectacular thing, and I'm going to talk about him because I hate to hear people talk about things that are incorrect. He's done bought networks to empower black women in their struggles of communication companies. He's done all of that, and you're going to get to know him real well because he is doing the work. And like I say, he's an immigrant from Liberia. So, what's up, Anubis? Greetings, everybody just joining me. If you're all just joining me, we were just going over some of and the misconceptions or the problems people have with problems. And even when I see people don't realize Essence Festival, someone who was here, they said they had been earlier. Essence Festival was founded in 1985. 1985. So you do understand that. We're talking about a festival that has been continuously attended by about 500,000 people a day, 3 days a year. So a million and a half people on average see Essence, the festival itself, every year. It draws millions of people to New Orleans. And if you've been to New Orleans, and then this is, I hate to hear people talk about the South, especially New Orleans, who've never lived here or been there, because you understand a 500,000 people might look like a lot, a million and a half people might look like a lot, but we get 2 to 2.5 million people for Mardi Gras. So New Orleans is capable of handling that kind of thing. Do I think? I don't know. Looking at the crowds, do I think that was the same this year? Probably not. But every festival wax and wanes. I mean, Coachella wax and wanes. I do think they had some management issues that had to do with production teams, and I think people leaned into the idea that Essence Fest has its own cultural phenomenon, and that we just automatically decide to come to Essence Festival for July the 4th. Um, Economic downturns have an effect also. All that plays in. And now let's talk about Target. Another thing I be wanting to tell people is that you all will start these boycotts or start these ideas of boycotts, and you don't do your research. You don't do your research. The idea that you all thought that Target was going to not require Essence to fulfill their contractual obligations and give them the booth that they've been giving them for years, because for years, am I the only one that know that a lot of these companies you all boycott, that you get a massive idea on, already have deep ties to the black community, and they have those ties for a reason. And then if you're going to boycott them, you're cutting them off from some of your favorite events, and then the funding for those favorite events goes down. I understand, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that when you all don't do your research, it just amazes me that you expect things that and Target has been a part of the Essence Festival ever since the first one I've been to. I know. I believe they were at. I went to the first Essence Festival. I've been to about seven of them since then, and Target has had a booth, a major booth at all of them. All of them. We know how to handle things. What's up, Portia? 40, 1995 was the first Essence Festival. 1995. And the idea that is it a cult, like I say, is it a cultural phenomenon? Yes, but the I don't think people know who Susan Smith is. I don't think people know who she was and what she was creating with the Essence Festival, because Essence, she always envisioned Essence to be a worldwide brand. She always intended that. So now you're talking about, because it is trying to, the owner is trying to use it as a jump off for a worldwide ban on unifying what the black experience is, because the black experience is not just your experience in Mississippi. It's a worldwide black experience. And then when I hear people, and I made a video, because I hear people talking about the civil rights movement in the United States like it's the end all and be all to all liberation of black people across the world. Do you understand every colonized country in the on the planet that was colonized in the diaspora and inside of Africa? And I'm gonna talk about the difference between the African Union and African diaspora. I made a video on that too. Your live is not eligible for recommendation, restriction, and search because it primarily directs people away from the app. My mm, so if y'all want people to hear this, you're gonna have to send it to them, because um, my live does not contain the aforementioned. Yeah, my live doesn't. But as I say, you have to send it to them, because TikTok is not going for it. They're just me talking is enough. Me talking is enough. Just me, by virtue of me talking, I'm going to get a violation. But let's move on for those who are here. So you get to the idea that I hear people talk about that, and I was like, how stupid are you all? Yeah, I am. I'm also. We have to normalize calling stupid people stupid. We have to normalize telling them that in your stupidity, you are doing the work of white supremacy for them, because you don't have the intellectual might. Because a lot of these people are pseudo intellectual and pretendivists. They're not activists, and they're not black intellectuals. They're black pretendivists, and they're black pseudo intellectuals. So when I hear people that say, "Oh, the civil rights movement," not to take anything away from the civil rights movement in this country, but to understand that the civil rights movement in this country is just one of many movements that black people worldwide have engaged in fighting for their liberation. Ghana, let's take it. Ghana. Ghana won its liberation in 1957 from the British. So you think they wasn't fighting before then? And I could go back before this country was a country, and the fight for liberation ever since the transatlantic slave trade that was engaged in by black people out, because we always talk about, oh, black people sold themselves into slavery. Well, we can talk about that one day, and we can get it nailed down and talk about what it actually was as opposed to what it became. Whole different story. But the idea is that not every tribe, every nation in West Africa even was a willing participant in the slave trade. So they fought. Ethiopia was never colonized. They fought against colonization. The Zulus only fell after Shaka fell. because they fought. Now, we don't even have to go back to that far. We can go back to 3 years before Rosa Parks sat down on that bus and refused to give her seat up in the Montgomery and starting the Montgomery bus boycott. That Obatun Awate, he was fighting racial segregation in Nigeria. Fighting racial segregation in Nigeria. Are we going to act like the Soweto didn't happen in 1976, where the apartheid government massacred almost 800 students for standing up to them? What country, what planet do you all live on when you don't understand how worldwide anti-blackness is a thing and that the fight for liberation by black people is a worldwide phenomenon? How? Can somebody make it make sense to me? So when you come on here creating the division that the oppressor is happy that you're creating by trying to differentiate, when you don't know the difference between the diaspora and the African Union, you probably don't need to be talking about things. And now, let's talk about it. The African diaspora is not the same thing as the 5 regions that encompass the African Union. The African Union is composed. I had to get somebody straight of this, and you all can argue with your mama, or you can go argue with whoever you want to. There are 55 recognized countries in the African Union. People are like, there are only 54 countries in Africa. There are 55. That's all. I'm not going to argue with you. There are 55 countries recognized in the African Union. I'm not talking about the UN. I'm not talking about the UN and their fickle countries deciding to recognize a country or not. That does not make a country a country. The idea that this country has said it's a country and it is recognized by the African Union, argue with your mama. Argue with your mama. Yeah, but as I was saying, there are 55 countries in the African Union that compose the 5 regions of the African Union. It's the northern region, the central region, the western region, the southern, and, well, eastern. Your platform. Yeah, no, it doesn't. Yeah, I just keep getting the same. And I keep telling them, I don't know what they're talking about. So, the African diaspora is the 6th region that was created in 2005. Understand, the the African Union as it stands today was created in what came about being in 2002, and its goal was to unify and in solidarity the continent of Africa. Okay, that's what it moved to promote unity and cooperation on the continent between African countries. In 2005, they came together and they decided, you know what? We need to include in our 6th region, because I told you there are 5 regions: the northern, the southern, the central, western, and eastern region. You can go look at a map. It's in my last video. They had to say, you know what? There are millions of people that are not that are African or African descent that are not on the continent, and we should extend our support to them too. And in 2005, that's when they came up with the 6th region, and it's called the African diaspora. And they defined the African diaspora is any person of African heritage not living on the continent. So if you sit and call somebody, if you say somebody in Sierra Leone is in the African diaspora, you don't know what you're talking about. If they live in Sierra Leone, they are on the African continent. They are on the EU in one of the 5 districts, one of the 5 geographical locations. Sorry about that. If you are living outside of that, regardless of citizenship or country of affiliation, the African Union extended Africanism to you in the diaspora. Do you know that people don't understand the largest population of people of African descent outside of Africa is not the United States? Can't stop, and we won't stop. You should dye your beard red. Reese, Reese. If that's not pirate, yeah, you could just mute them for the rest of the conversation. If they have nothing to add except that, you give them more chance. You can mute them for the rest of the conversation if you would like, or I don't care. I don't care. But ignorance is not going to be the thing right now when I'm talking about the African diaspora. You get to the point where the African diaspora is any people that don't live on the continent that are of African descent. The largest African diaspora population is not the United States, it is Brazil by 55 to 56 million people who identify as black with African roots live in Brazil. And that brings me to the Brazilian the Brazilian civil rights movement that was founded in 1978, still going on to this day. And they not only draw their inspiration from the American civil rights movement, but for the battle against anti colonialism that has taken place in the broader scope. So you have the top 10. Now, I have a list. I had a list. I put the list of the top 10 countries. And I was talking about, notice how this list of the top 10 countries where the populations and the diaspora, African diaspora, are some of the same countries that are on the banned the banned list that Donald Trump has instituted, like Haiti is third, the Dominican Republic, Venezuela is on the list. Um, these countries outside of Africa are on the list of banned countries, or countries that you're talking about exploitation with, like Mexico. People don't realize. I didn't understand how people don't realize that the country that allowed slaves, runaway slaves, into it before Canada did, and operated freely, would have a large black population. It never amazes me when I hear that. To not understand that 5.8 or 9 million people that are also going to be under deportation orders in this country are black. And to understand that while we're talking about it, how many the 20% of the so-called immigrants that are in this country are white, that are undocumented in this country are white. Why do we never see them getting arrested? Why do we never see them getting arrested? I'm starting at the White House. I'm gonna arrest the one that had an Einstein card illegally, because you can't prove to me she came by unless her talent is on her. Yes, Bella. Yeah. How you doing? Hey, you want to go? Yeah, y'all say hello to Bella. Bella kept me from saying that. Yeah. So y'all say hello. Bella's behind me. But yeah, we started that one in the White House. So that's where we are. That we have these people that talk and they don't know what they're talking about. These are the same people that will say this and then will say that, oh, we're taking a break. Let me talk about that for a moment. Let me talk about that moment because we do the work here. Listen, my parents, my grandparents came of age in the South. I told you, my grandmother came to the South when she married a big cornbread-fed Southern Negro that was built like a tree stump, the muscular type, right? That's why I'm so tall. Get it from my dad. Get it from. But the idea that you don't understand that they didn't let my grandmother and mother and other parts of my family were fighting against racist, bigoted elected officials every year, every election. And they didn't stop fighting because they didn't win an election. Medgar Evers was registering the people to vote when he was killed, and Strom Thurmond became a senator. Hell, we had Bull Connor in Mississippi. We had George Wallace in Alabama? And do you think black people stopped fighting for their educational liberation, for their right to go on the beach? My parents were on the beach in Mississippi fighting, and they didn't even like the beach. They were fighting because if we're gonna pay our taxes, we can go out here if we want to. And then when I listen to people talk about, oh, we're tired, and we say, y'all tired of what? Where y'all been? The same people that are saying they're tired, I have never seen. Hey, nephew, did you see any of these people that say they tired in Albuquerque with us? Did you see any of those that say they tired? Were they in Albuquerque with us? Did those people who joined me in Oklahoma City for Julius Jones, fighting for his life? Did you see any of these people who are so big on this app talking about they're tired? When we were feeding people in um, Fort Smith, did you see them? When we were helping hurricane tornado victims in Rolling Fork, Mississippi, did you see them? Did you see any of these people, nephew, when we were in Alabama 3 months ago? Did you all see any of these people that are talking about they're tired get thrown off of the Supreme Court steps with Riggs and Jay? Did I didn't see them there. I definitely didn't see them before we got tear gassed on the National Plaza. I didn't see them in Minnesota. I didn't see them in Alabama, in Georgia, when we were out there consoling and just showing our support for Ahmaud Arbery's mother. Where have these people been to be tired right now? Where have they been? Where have these people that are not going to bust a grape in a fruit salad been to be so tired? What have they been doing? I need somebody to tell me. Because if you say you voted in November 5th and you're tired that it didn't turn out the way you thought it was turn out, shut the fuck up talking to me. Shut the fuck up. I need somebody to tell me. Where have they been? I saw some of them talking on TikTok. You know, that is exhausting. Talking on TikTok is exhausting. Talking on TikTok is exhausting. I can understand that. They're exhausted from talking on TikTok. Yep, you sure are. So the idea is that this is what we contend with, and if nobody's going to pull the lever and straighten these people in those moments, no. I tell people, some of y'all are too friendly for your own good with people that are spounding bullshit. If I have to put up with your comedy in here, don't take it out there when you're supposed to be fighting. I have to put up with your comedy in here all the time. And I do it because I care about you and I don't want to cuss all of y'all out all the time. But at the end of the day, if you can bring it here when I'm talking about a serious topic, I need you to leave it here. I will endure your comedy as long as you go out there and fight against racists and bigots. I will endure it. I will endure it. So why can't we make that happen? Now, I want to show you all something. And I want to share this with you all, right? I want to share this with you all. And if you know me, you know that microaggressions get on my damn nerves. Microaggressions get on my nerves. I be wanting to bust people in the mouth all the time. And people will say microaggressions and don't even realize they're doing microaggressions. As a black man, a lot of the shit I have to put up with from people that even say they care, sometimes it makes me want to snap one of their necks. And I'll be like, I need you to check your microaggressions, especially when I'm like on lecture mode. But microaggressions like this really get to me. Today, Joseph Barcanet, um, sorry, the president of Liberia, his name, I know his name, is Joseph Boakai. Okay? Like Kai Sinet, Boakai, Boakai. That's his name. That's him right there, the little bald headed, short bald headed guy. He's the president of Liberia. Yeah. He was at the White House today. He was at the White House. Let me show you. how that went. All right. And then you tell me why
I
I'm.
want to thank you so much for this opportunity.
Well, thank you. And such good English, such beautiful. Where did you learn to speak so beautifully? Where were you educated? Where?
Yes, sir.
In Liberia.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's very interesting. It's beautiful English.
Sure.
I have people at this table can't speak nearly as well,
Very
and
good, sir. Thank you.
they come from.
Right, Rain? Did you hear that? Y'all got to hear that again. I don't think y'all got to hear that again. I need y'all to hear this again. Uh, he knows he's wrong for that. Listen, listen, but I don't even think you know how wrong he is. Hold on, listen to this. I want y'all to listen again because there's a method to my madness.
I want to thank you so much for this opportunity.
Well, thank you. And such good English, such beautiful. Where did you learn to speak so beautifully? Where were you educated? Where?
Yes, sir.
In Liberia.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's very interesting. It's beautiful English.
Sure.
I have people at this table can't speak nearly as well,
Very
and
good, sir. Thank you.
they come from.
Listen, listen. And no, let me clarify something before I go on with this. When I'm talking about people like coming into the live that don't know us and they bring this in. See, no, Reese, Rain, you all understand what's going on at the time. Sometimes I know like Reese will try to break me up because I'll be about to break something. No, that's different. When I'm talking about like the guy before you came in, Rain was like, you should dye your beard red. And I was like, if I could hunt you down right now, I would. Those are the kind of things I mean that people will come in and don't know or can't read a room and don't know that that comes off how that comes off because they don't care. Those are the people I'm talking about. But let's get back to the president of Liberia. Donald Trump is the president of the United States with access to all the intelligence that you could possibly want, right? Donald Trump said this to a man from Liberia. Do you all know what the official language of Liberia is? Anybody? And this is why I say it's a microaggression. Does anybody know what the official language of Liberia is? Liberia. Thank you. English. English. The official language of Liberia is English. Yeah, I'm gonna get you for that, right? Is English. Liberia was a colony formed by free liberated slaves that went back to Africa with the intent of colonization. They didn't think they had the intent of colonization. The American government was like, how do we get a foothold on Africa? You know what we do? We're going to send some liberated black people and we're going to set up a government that it was founded by slaves, former slaves that didn't know where they were from on in the continent, so they established a country in Liberia. What language did they speak? I'm back. Had a phone call. What language did so what language did the freed slaves that have been enslaved in America speak when they went back to Liberia? English. So the president of the United States just told that man that you speak good English. In order, let me tell you why that's a microwave. Because Liberia was formed, and somebody check and see if I'm wrong. It was January 1822, I believe. January, ah, January. It was between the first and the 10th. I think it's somewhere in there between that. And I'm thinking it's like the 8th or the 7th. I'm not sure, but I know it's 1822. Somebody go check it out and tell me how far off I am. But Liberia was founded in 1822. Freed slaves, like I said, freed slave. I don't even want to call them freed. We can make an argument that in 1822, yeah, slavery still existed in the United States with these northern congressmen. They had a great idea that we're going to send American colonists that are black to Africa to um, Yeah, no. So it was, recaptured slaves, freemen and recaptured slaves. Um, yeah. Thank you, Gracie. So I was off by what, a couple of days. This seventh. I knew it was around that time. I know the month and the year. And then in January, I always, it's like some months I will always remember the date during the month. I know what month it takes place in, but I'll be like, okay, it's January 7th, 1822. So I had the 1822 in the January right. So at the end of the day, the President of the United States knows this. It is nothing different than the microaggressions that people use towards me when I speak. I could be speaking on a panel with a bunch of other white men, right? And they speak just as articulately as I do. And I've had white women come up to me and say, "Oh, you're just so articulate." Is it a stretch? And they say it, and that's what is a microaggression, because they say it like you're talking to a trained monkey that you just found out knew how to talk. Like the idea of being articulate is not a trick. It's not even that difficult. It's irritating as it's like when people walk up to black women and say, "Oh, you're so pretty for a black girl." I'd be like, if they slap the hell out of you, I would be there for it. I would pull up the table, get the drinks ready, and be like, "Yep, you had that coming. Didn't see that." Right. I'm not Bubbles. This I've been speaking English ever since I first started talking. Now I do know a couple of other languages that I learned along the way, but it's not a stretch. And when I hear people say that after they listen, or they'll say something, and just like he said, where were you educated at? I started to say I was educated while your mom was sucking my, but then they get all bent out of shape and they don't realize, oh, I didn't, how, huh? What do you mean? Where was I educated at? Where were you educated at? Where were you educated at? You're speaking English. I'm speaking English because people are social. And then don't get me started on code switching. But the microaggression is rooted in the fact that most of them think that we speak a certain way because they don't understand code switching, which our very life is dependent on at time. And they be like, oh, because our standard of speaking is the. I've seen so many white people, and I be listening to them sometime, and I be like, "What language is that?" Because I'm not sure it's English. Your subject verb agreement is non-existent, and it is. And they think someone has to work hard to make a subject verb agreement in a sentence. Ah, I know he literally doesn't care what falls out of his mouth. Who doesn't? But he's says so many stupid things that blow my mind. Who I gotta see who y'all talking about. Oh, y'all talking about. Listen, I want you to also realize this is intentional. This is intentional. Before you all just dismiss it as stupid just for the sake of stupid. See, when we think things are just stupid for the sake of stupid, we create this image of people that breeds this idealism of, oh, they so special, and not the way that we take them seriously. No, this was intentional. Donald Trump does things like this intentionally. He does it intentionally. He doesn't it's a combination of not caring, but he's not playing to the president of Liberia. He's playing to his base. This is intentional. It comes a time when you all have to start acknowledging that the stupid things are intentional. Slowly change the way she was speaking to her normal voice the longer she was at my house. Um, where's his Harvard degree? That's why he mad at Harvard. He ain't got one. What did he study at? Warren. Wherever he could get somebody to do his homework, but that's still not it. It's still not it. You all make an assumption that no general ever makes about their enemy. You make the assumption that your enemy, that you're smarter than your enemy in all things. No, this is intentional. This is intentional. regardless of what you think, yes, are his base supporters stupid, but he speaks their language to them. He speaks their language. I done told y'all not to mention Trump around my dogs. No, they done let the room. Yeah, you was. I know I missed the first half of your conversation, but but we'll have that. We'll have that conversation in text. I don't want to go back and read it, but I want to know. Um, smart dogs. So when I heard this, and I was like, "You have got to be kidding me, right?" And it's like I say, this is intentional. When I looked at it and I played it back, and I realized the syrupy talking, the sweet talking, the way he was delivering it is classic microaggression from somebody who knows what they're doing. And then to throw in the part, I got people on my cabinet who don't speak English as well as you. Like who? Like who? The Secretary of Education, Linda McMahon. Like whom? That's what I would ask. See, that's why I can't do these things. But people, you like, it's like, yeah, you speak English. Like whom specifically? Name names. Name names. See, because he enjoys and he understands the ability to control the narrative for his base. Himself, Linda, his whole damn crew. I speak English and try Jesus, not me. Listen, and then to ask them, where were you educated? And the implication, you know what the implication is when you ask somebody that, where were you educated at? Oh, in America? I don't have to be educated in America. They speak English all over the world. Isn't English? I know people think English is a complicated language because some people fake that they don't understand it. You can understand English and not have not spoken English in a couple of weeks. You can understand the intent of English, especially when racists speak it, because it's all about their body language. It's all about their body language. But this is the standard. Like that whole delivery was about how you look at the rest of the world. The rest of the world looks at this as an accomplishment. I look at Mandarin as an accomplishment. I look at Cantonese as an accomplishment. I've been trying to learn Cantonese for like 10 years fluently, not just a couple of words. Cantonese confounds me, and I love the language. I love the way it sounds, but I cannot do it. I can't master it. I have not been able to master it in a decade, but I can learn a couple of words. They're some of the hardest to learn. Yeah, and I love it. I love the way it sounds. So that's what we have going on in the world. And like I say, is Petra still in here? Because Petra was texting me back and forth, and we were talking about how MAGA is like losing their shit right now between the combination of the Epstein files. I'm making a video. So when you all see this video, I don't want you to say anything except laugh with me. Because I'm going to make a video. I have the tape of Pam Bondi talking about the Epstein list laying on her desk. And then we're going to talk about what they said. Like, why y'all still talking about the Epstein file? I'm going to say, hey, MAGA. I'm going to call them MAGA. So you know it's something up when I'm going to say, hey, MAGA. And I don't call them maggots. So when you all see that, you're going to be like, this is some good laughs going to show. Because I tell you, some people, I just be wanting, when our enemies are fighting, I want some of y'all just shut up and just watch. And then there's some people that we need to add a little gas to the fire. And in this case, we're going to add gas to the fire because they're fighting amongst themselves, and I can add gas to the fire. Not everybody can add gas because it's not even about taking a side, it's about just starting more argument. Yes, and I'm going to post this video on X. I'm posting my video on X. I'm making a video. China. China. The two major languages of China are Mandarin and Cantonese. Yeah. So I am going to make a video, and I want MAGA supporters on TikTok to see it, and I want them to start fighting over it. Yeah, I want videos made. Yeah. I want videos made be like, it's a shame. Yeah, I'm not on your side. I just want you all to fight. I don't care about the Epstein file. I told Petra. Petra used to get into it with me about the Epstein files. And I said, nothing in the Epstein file is going to move the needle one bit. Because I also knew that nothing in the Epstein file that implicated anybody that had power over the Epstein file was ever going to be released anyway. I just thought that was a fool's errand. But I also said that I'm more than capable of using this fool's errand to sow division. My sister is trying to learn Korean. Yes, everyone in the fam do at it, and it's something to. All you gotta do, uh. Oh, it is. I saw that. We're supposed to be watching. Um, we're gonna watch. I, I haven't decided if I gotta. I don't know if I wanna watch Superman with you all first or without you all, cause I'm like kind of mad. If you get a chance, watch Ironheart. Ironheart is good. Have you ever been able to watch something and the acting is superb, everything is good? I like the acting, I like the bases, and I hate the ending. Yes, that's how I know. Because when I say people say stuff like people that they think I didn't like it because it was not well written. No, I think the show is well written. The action makes sense. The storyline made sense. I just didn't like. Cause anybody don't want a spoiler? If you don't want a spoiler, tell me, and I might listen. I'm watching High and Hard Friday. Yeah, yes. If you did, and I can tell you this much, it's not a spoiler. You know how we've been talking about Mephisto showing up in the MCU ever since WandaVision. Well, WandaVision, I liked Iron Heart. I watched it all. Yeah, Mephisto shows up. I just didn't like. I didn't mind Mephisto showing up because I mean there was magic in it, Red Hood. So and if you knew the story of Red Hood, I figured either Mephisto or another demon was going to show up. I figured one was going to show up. It was just too much magic, and the Red Hood was in it. But what I didn't like was the departure from Riri Williams' character when she was talking with Mephisto. I just didn't like that. I didn't. I didn't find that. I wanted them. It's let me tell you this, and this is the when you have lived a certain type of life, when you grew up in a certain type of life, there are things that don't impress you that impress other people. There are things that if Lucifer was real and he pulls up on me and say, "I'll do this and do this for you," and I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm good." Yeah, yeah, because you want too much for what you're offering. And I know people. Listen, I know people like Lucifer, so I don't need you. I know people. I grew up with people just like you. I've made deals with people like you that I regretted, and I'd be damned if I make one with you at this age. Yeah, I'm not. I'm good. I'm good. And that's what I tell people. When I listen to people who have fought oppression in some way, shape, or form, they don't fall for the same things that it tells me about people who don't fight oppression fall for. It just tells me there's a lot of character development in them. But like I said, I still thought it was real well written, well acting. I like the guy who's playing Mephisto. I would like to see him in his true form. I can't wait for that. Um, I like the Chicago angle. I was explaining to my chief of security because he's like, he can't believe they hacked her. I was like, how can you not believe? It was just laying around MIT department. Of course they're gonna hack it. They probably hacked it while she was in that office talking. It wouldn't be hard because it's literally open. It was literally open. And that's another thing. It was her naivety to certain things that also was a little off to me because literally you have been to Wakanda. You spent a couple of weeks, months in Wakanda, as a matter of fact, with Shuri. Yeah, there was a little couple of things. And I'm sure you knew that. It, and this is why they had to do it this way because this would never have gotten that far. You remember the conversation she has with her best friend about calling Shuri? You wouldn't have even had to call Shuri. You would have called Okoye. I would have called Okoye. That's who I would have called. I'd have said, hey, she would have said yes. And he said, I got a problem. She said, I'll be there in 10 minutes, all the way from Wakanda. I'll be there in 10 minutes. And 8 of those minutes are going to just be getting ready to get there, not even the flight. So, yeah, but they had to take that out. And, because they had to do it different, because, of course, Riri Williams didn't meet security, didn't meet the Wakandans until later. I'm gonna beat you, Petra. I'm beating Petra. It's on site, Petra. It's on site. T. Told y'all. I told y'all. Get the fundraiser going. Get the fundraiser. Yeah, y'all get the fundraiser. I tell you, when you get to the goal, you let me know you got to the goal, and if the goal, even if it did donate it, I will say if the goal gets met, you all will watch Teeth. I'll put it on and go do something else. I'm not watching Teeth. I don't even know if I can get Teeth right now. Hold on, let me see something. I know I told you I blocked it. I don't know if I even have access to Teeth anymore. Let me go see. Hold on. Change is coming. Hold on. Don't you worry about a thing. What year did this movie come out? All right. 19. Yeah. Yeah. Let me show you why we won't be watching it. Let me show you. Let me show you why this. I guess I gotta get past. Hold on. I gotta get past this scene because you all know how TikTok is. I don't even think TikTok gonna let me show any of it.
All right. What can I do for you, miss? Is this your first time?
I blurred it for a reason.
Okay. So I imagine you have no idea what to expect.
Not really.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna bite you. Just lie down. Put your feet right in here. Okay. Are you sexually active?
No, I just want to be checked out.
Okay.
See, we're not gonna look at this, right? But this is T, and I guess yes, this is T, and it's gonna cost me $750 to play that on my station, on my channel.
I think
It's
there
gonna cost
might be
$750
something
to
weird
see
going
it.
on inside.
What?
I know y'all
What's?
couldn't hear it.
What did you put in here?
That's what he get. Right, $745.
There is something inside of me that's lethal.
Let me get this off of here.
Dentata.
What?
It's Latin for teeth.
So no, we are not even going to. I am not even going. Don't forget. So we good. We good. We never gonna see teeth because we're never gonna make it to $750. Yeah. So all right. Reese didn't tell me. I GCPR. I'll talk to you all later. Same Wakanda station, same Black Panther time. And tomorrow's Wednesday, tomorrow Thursday. Tomorrow Thursday. Hey, today's the night. We got 2 more days of Prime. Like I ordered anything. Anybody else order anything for Prime? All right, GCPR. Peace. I have to make sure I turn it off because I will go. I will go and leave it on. Somebody let me live vicariously through them. What y'all order on Prime? Hey, what y'all order from Amazon Prime for Prime Day? Anything good? Anybody get anything good? Air. I got I got I got stale air. I couldn't afford any new air. Yeah, air. A toy for my great nephew. Oh, okay. That must be nice. Also, while we're talking about Texas, you understand in New Mexico, flash flooding has left 3 dead. Dinosaur lunches. That's good. That sounds great. All right. Well, let me. All right, YouTube. Holla at y'all later. Peace.